Hi, everyone, and welcome to another new show here on SSP TV, The Girls, where we are via Zoom with my mom and Lori from home. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So we have an interesting guest on, a returning guest again. We've been having some returning guests because we've had some really good guests on the program, but we'll get to her in just a little bit. We like to do our little chit chat, I guess, because Lori is all blingy. I almost need my sunglasses on to do the show with you today.
Oh, I'm so excited. I bought this. I don't often buy coats, and I know we're not really going out a whole lot, but sometimes when you're home so much, you just need a little bit of something to pick you up. So I found this amazing coat online, and I love it. Just got this funky little bow, and it has rhinestones all over the entire coat. Not something I would normally buy, but when I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with it. So I had to have it, and I'm so excited about it.
So you find that you're buying more stuff just because you're kind of like in a funk. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just get this, or I'm, click this, or you're at a store and you just buy something because you're just bored.
Yeah, I think for me, this is the first like clothing type purchase that's a little more unique. I've been buying a lot of more home appliances. I bought an electronic pasta maker that I love because you're not really eating out a whole lot. And I just bought the Ninja Foodie, the grill, which I'm in love with that too, because as you know, I love to cook. So they're the things that I've been buying.
I've been shopping in my own closet because I have things for years, and I just find that I enjoy wearing some of the things. Like if it's something that I loved then, I love it now. And I think now that all the styles are just anything you want to wear, especially with us doing our shows like this, we could just put one of our fancy tops on and just be done with it and really have, it's pretty easy. And with staying home a lot, you mentioned exercising. Anybody who calls me knows that I'm not sitting talking to you. I'm on the phone and I'm walking because I have my Fitbit on, and I make sure I get all my steps in. So I'm like 10,000 steps by.
What are you at now? Let's see. How many steps are you at?
I'm at 4,800 already.
4,800. Okay, it's nighttime. I'm at 9,430. So I'll be walking around till at least I hit 10. Lori?
Oh, I'm only at 5,611.
All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. I mean, I always have my watch on.
I don't have my Fitbit on right now because I changed it over just to wear my watch because I always have the Fitbit on, but I love this watch that Daddy had bought for me, and I never get to wear it. We never get to go anywhere. So I actually took it off to wear it for the show, and it's one of my faves. It's like the whole face is diamonds. This is all diamonds, and it actually needs a battery, so I don't know what time it is.
Well, I think it's time to go to a break because our guest is waiting for us. She's a returning guest. And Lori, I'll have you do the introduction.
Sure. So we have Michelle Nutter, who will be joining us from the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. And we're going to be talking about relationship scams today.
Well, stay with us. We'll be right back here on The Girls.
Welcome back to The Girls, everyone. We're excited to have a return guest with us. We have Michelle Nutter. She's the Education and Outreach Manager for the Pennsylvania Office of the Attorney General. Michelle, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Lori. It's so good to be with you.
So, Michelle, we were talking a little earlier, Debbie and Janine and I, just about, we haven't really been out a whole lot. So I would think folks who are single, which, you're trying to meet people, getting acquainted with individuals. During COVID, it's very difficult to do that. And, my husband and I talk about that. I would not want to be dating nowadays. I mean, Sam and I are together almost 29 years, and we met in high school. So it was easy breezy. But to think about now with everything going on, you have to be so alert to what is genuine and not. So I know today you have some great information on relationship scams. So tell us, how do people get involved in a relationship scam?
Yeah, so relationship scams, unfortunately, are pretty common. And I think, your point about having to meet people in new ways, especially during COVID, we really have seen an uptick in people getting onto different online dating sites and platforms as a way to try and meet people. And so this particular scam, whether you call it a romance scam or a sweetheart swindle or whatever you want to call it, like the whole purpose of it is that these scammers are looking for individuals who are looking for love, and they play on that emotion, trying to make a really quick, really fast connection to be able to get under the defenses of the person, to be able to scam them out of money or other types of information.
Okay,
We've
so
seen this so much over COVID where it's heightened because more people are turning to social media or they're turning to technology to really just find someone to chit chat with and have some companionship. Maybe they're home all day and it gets lonely.
Definitely. Anecdotally, we know that there has been an increase in people looking to make these connections online simply because being able to connect with people face to face is so much harder. But we don't have the exact numbers in right now, specifically to COVID-19. We do know that there was about a 40% increase in the number of romance scams reported to the Federal Trade Commission last year from the previous year.
I recently had some comments from people I didn't know. These were men. And it was, gee, Debbie, I like your post. I like the things that you put. And I sent you a friend request. Would you please accept my friendship? So, of course, a conscientious person that I am, I didn't know the person, clicked on to see what their background was. And it's always a picture of a real handsome guy. He's always in a uniform. And it's always that he's a widow and he's in the Army or the Navy or some sort of military. And it's always like apologetic, but complimentary. And it'll always be, well, I don't want to interfere with your life, but I really like your post and I really would like to have your friendship. So is that how it starts out? Because I immediately block that person. I mean, I'm not, going to get involved with anything, but I immediately become suspicious. And for anybody I don't know, I'm super, suspicious of it. And I block them, but they still keep coming back. Like, how do they get through that block?
Well, often they will kind of change up what their underlying account name is so that they're able to just keep coming back. You've blocked one, but then they try a different avenue. And what you're describing really is very, very typical of these romance scams. A lot of them do start on online dating platforms, but they also can start through Facebook or other social media platforms where they reach out with this, complimentary, either they're complimenting your looks or they're complimenting your intelligence or your kindness or something to try and get that foot in the door, and they want you to befriend them. We know a lot of times that they will, do an image search and find pictures of attractive men or women, often in the military, often in uniform or in some type of powerful position, and pretend that that's who they are, thinking that, this is a really attractive person. So yeah, I'm going to grant the friend request. And so one of the things we always recommend is, if somebody's contacting you and they have that profile picture, do a Google image search to see, has that image been used elsewhere? Because a lot of times you'll see that folks who have been scammed in this way will often post information about what has happened to them. And so you'll end up seeing this one particular picture with all these different reports saying, yeah, I was scammed by him. Yes, I was scammed by her too. So it's always important that if you're thinking, is this legitimate? Do some research before you grant that friend request or before you start sharing any information with them.
Well,
Facebook, I didn't know had a they have their own site for dating. I didn't even realize that till one of my friends said, did you know Facebook has like a dating part of their app? Is that true?
I'm not familiar with it, but I wouldn't put it past Facebook or any site to try and capitalize on it.
Michelle, is there a target that these criminals look for? Like, is there, besides maybe seeing what you look like, if you have a photo, is there like a certain population, something that they're looking for in particular when they target an individual?
Yeah, so honestly, more so than looking for someone who's attractive or young or whatever, they're looking for someone who appears to have wealth or some type of means to support themselves. Looking at pictures that we have posted of ourselves. And if we have lots of pictures where we're on exotic vacations or we're in front of an expensive car or, something like that with lots of expensive jewelry on or all gussied up, things like that where the scammer could look and say, oh, I bet that person's got some money, because that's the end game of these romance scams. They want to take us for as much as they can get out of us financially.
Well, that's interesting because I usually post prayers and support, and there might be a picture of a birthday or something like that. But the target market that I'm in, I guess they look for vulnerability too.
Definitely.
They figure, is it the older you are, they think maybe you're stupid when it comes to using the internet or something. I don't know what that is.
That could be part of it. We do know, like when we look at the numbers of folks who have filed a complaint around a romance scam, the majority of the victims are over age 40, and more women file reports than men. Now, because we don't know the whole picture, a lot of times people who are scammed by romance scams never report them to law enforcement because they're so embarrassed by them. And so we don't really know, are women targeted more often, or do women just report being targeted more often? Not really sure, but definitely looking for people, again, someone who has assets or some kind of means of financial support. They're also looking for people who are compassionate, because that's part of the scam. They're gonna, once they befriend you, they're going to talk about having some type of need or family emergency. And so they're gonna make that plea for money from you. And so they look for people who have that compassionate nature. And then the last thing that they typically look for is they look for people who seem a little vulnerable or are looking for friendship or maybe don't come across on their social media feed as having a lot of support. They want someone that they can isolate pretty easily so that once they start down this pathway of the scam, that the person isn't going to say to a friend or to a family member, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this is right? Or do you think I'm being scammed? They want someone who is going to just get really caught up in the relationship.
I'm going to hold you right there because we're going to take a short break. But when we come back here on The Girls, we will continue our talk about relationship scams. And if you're going, aha, this might be happening to me, how you can report it and how you can get help when we come right back on The Girls.
Welcome back to The Girls. We have an exciting guest today. She's a returning guest, actually, Michelle Nutter. And we are talking today with her about relationship scams online, on Facebook, whatever your social media is. We all have different kinds of social media. So we are sitting ducks, aren't we, Michelle?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So what are some, if you're going along doing your thing online and you just don't know for sure, what are some of the warning signs of a romance scam?
Well, I think, always we need to have our guard up. And I think sometimes with social media, we can let our guard down a little bit easier, and we tend to believe whatever the person on the other end of that exchange is telling us. But it's really important that we keep our guard up. If someone that we meet online, if they just seem too good to be true, right? That should be a little bit of a red flag. Like, okay, what's the rest of the story here? Take a look at the profile information that they have. If there's not a lot of detail, if it just seems like it's too scanty, there's not enough information there, that could be a warning sign that it is a profile that was created just as a way to try and lure people in. Sometimes the scammers are located in other countries, and so their English skills may be limited. So that might be a red flag. They work really, really fast. And what I mean by that is it's like 0 to 60, you meet them and then they're calling you sweetheart and baby and telling you they love you and they can't live without you, just, as fast as can be. That's a definite red flag. They ask you to leave the social media site and have the conversation offline some way, right? A lot of these scams start on dating sites, and the platforms have a lot of safety features built in. So if someone is making you uncomfortable or harassing you, you can report them and the site will, ban them, kick them off, limit that contact. But when they get you to move to a text messaging, you don't have those same protections. So when someone's trying to say, hey, let's take this into text, or let me call you instead, that could be a red flag. They make plans to meet with you in person, but then something always comes up. Oh, this happened or that happened. And so there's never that ability to actually meet. They forget important details. Like if you've had a conversation and you tell them something really important that's going on in your life, the next time you talk to them, they don't remember anything about it. That's probably because they're talking to lots of different people, or you're talking to more than one person pretending to be that one profile. And so they may not know about the conversation that you had with someone else. They don't use your name. They call you sweetheart or some other endearment because, again, they have so many different victims on the line that they're not sure who they're talking to. They often ask for really private information more quickly than would be natural as you're, developing a relationship with someone. And then the last one is that they're always having emergencies. Something always comes up that they can't meet you, but something always comes up that they need money from you or they need some type of support from you. Those are some of the most common red flags that we see.
And Michelle, if somebody is going to use an online dating app or looking through Facebook, they're looking for, maybe that person is genuinely looking for a romance, a new relationship. How can you safely do so? What can you do to avoid being caught into one of these scams?
Well, I think, first be careful what you post and what kinds of information you make public. A lot of times scammers will use details that we post in our social media feed as a way to try and better target us. So that's the first thing. Just be careful with what types of information that you put out there. And then, always do your research. As you're going and looking for different folks, take some time to really review their profile. As I had mentioned, you look at their photo and do a Google image search to see if it comes up in other profiles or on other sites. And does the name match the image on those other sites, or did the details are they the same? If they're not, then chances are it's not really that person who is contacting you. Take it slow. Take it as slowly as you can. Ask lots of questions. Try and really establish a relationship, just a friendship, by having conversation and learning as much about the other person as possible. I mentioned this earlier, beware if the person seems too perfect, too good to be true, or in love with you in such a short amount of time that it doesn't make sense. Be communicative with your friends and your family. let them know what you're doing. Have conversations with them. Ask them, what do you think? You know, if you feel comfortable, let them see some of the written conversation that you're having to say, does this sound good? Does it make sense? Or, you know, do you think this might be somebody just trying to scam me? Always beware if the person that you are interested in is trying to isolate you from friends or family, or telling you, oh, hey, please don't tell anybody, but ... whatever that is. That's always a red flag if they're trying to get you to keep the relationship secret or keep details about the relationship secret. You know, if they start asking you questions about your financial status or things along that line, that's something to definitely be really worried about. I think, you know, the best piece of advice that I can give you is just really to take it slow and do your research.
One of my best friends married the person that she met. It wasn't online, it was through a dating service. So is that something you recommend more for people thinking, listen, I can't work out at a gym, I can't go to church, I can't go to a bar, I can't go to a restaurant. Heck, where am I going to meet these people? Now, some states are open, other states are closed, but is that something that you might recommend people do? Because is that safer?
Well, I mean, you know, the Attorney General's office, we're not going to recommend it one way or the other, but I do know that a lot of the dating services do require background checks and financial checks. And so there is a little bit more, you know, someone else is doing that homework for you. So hopefully that would be a little safer, but who knows anymore?
Never know.
Michelle, if someone is involved with a person and they suspect that maybe they are being scammed, what can they do to help themselves? Can they reach out to your office, or what are some things that you can do?
Yeah, definitely. So first things first, if they have transferred money or purchased things for them, if possible, contact your bank or your credit card company to stop the transfer, stop the payment if you are able to do that. And then report the crime. So reach out to your local police first to report it, but then also you can reach out to our office, the Attorney General's office. You can report online at www.attorneygeneral.gov. You may also want to file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, which is ftc.gov. And then finally, if they contacted you through a dating app or platform or through some social media platform, you should report them to that platform. And then the last thing that we recommend for folks who have been victimized by romance scams is that counseling may be something that is helpful, because, you know, a lot of times when we're hurt through a romantic relationship, and even though this wasn't technically a real relationship, it can still cause a lot of emotional damage. And so it might make sense to reach out to a counselor to try and help you work through feeling like you have been victimized in this way.
Yeah, well, you gave us a lot of great information. I hope that everybody watching heeds the warning and you're not vulnerable. When in doubt, leave it out. That's my motto. So,
Yep.
You know, report it and try to get these people off of the scam, whatever is going on. But Michelle, thank you so much. We always look forward to meeting with you and talking with you and helping spread the word. You're doing a great job keeping us safe. So we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.